Right, good morning, grade 7. You guys are all at home, so you've got lots of time to listen to the rest of the story. So, thought I'd read the last 6 chapters all in one shot, but I'll post it as 6 separate videos. So, hier gaat ons, hoofstuk 18, ongemakkelijke vrae, uncomfortable questions. Remember Luan and Lana have just been taken to the police station because Luan has... Well, the cops have finally figured out that Luan did not pay for the sheep that has been all over Instagram. Dis amper 3:00 die middag toe ons uiteindelik by die polisiestasie uitstap. Ek is so moeg dat het voel of ek gaan omkap. Asof dit nie genoeg is dat ek laas nag amper niks geslaap het nie, het Sant mentor ons ure lank besig gehou. Ek en Lana moes 'n eindelose klomp vrae beantwoord. Wie se plan was dit om my skaap te steel? Het ons enige hulp gehad? Wat was ons van plan om met die skaap te doen? Hoekom het ons als op Twitter en Instagram gesit? Maak nie saak hoe hard ek probeer het om die polisieman te oortuig, Lana het niks met die saak uit te baai nie. Hy het aangehou om haar ook te ondervra. Eers in 'n ander kamertjie saam met ons met haar ouers en toe waar ek en ouma Alice ook by was. As dit nie vir my ouma was nie, was ons seker nou nog daar binne, besig om vrae te beantwoord. Nou ja, sê Lana se pa toe ons op die stoepie trappies buite die polisiestasie kom. Ons moet seker gaan hoor of die gastehuis vir ons plek het vir vanaand ook. Ek sal beslis nie Williston voor donker met my fiets haal nie. Right, so he's just saying that the policeman, Mr. Sergeant Mentor, kept questioning Lana as well, even though Luan kept telling him that Lana had nothing to do with it. And then the police want to know why they put it all over Twitter and Instagram. And then at first they were interviewing Lana in a separate room with her parents, and they were interviewing Luan and Granny Alice. And then finally, if it wasn't for Granny Alice, they probably would have still been answering questions. And then eventually when they got outside onto the stoep of the police station, Lana's dad said sure, they probably need to find if they can spend another night at the guest house, because he's not going to get to Williston, which is his next stop in his cycle trip, before the next day. Lana, kan ek met jou praat? Vra ek sag. Kom Lana, sê haar pa. Hy klink alles behalwe vriendelik. Ek kan hom seker nie kwaadlik neem nie. Ek's nou daar, pa, sê Lana. My ouma sit haar hand om Lana se pa se skouer en fluister iets vir hom. Hy sug net en skud sy kop. Hy en die tannie gaan klim in die bussie. My ouma gaan wag in die Land Rover. Gelukkig het die polisie vanoggend besluit Dolores mag voorlopig op oom Jackson se plaas bly tot die saak uitgesorteer is. Ek dink nie hulle het mooi geweet wat om met 'n skaap in die aanklagkantoor te doen nie. Oom Jackson wou met alle mag en mening saamkom, maar my ouma het gevra dat hy eerder nie betrokke raak nie. Lana, ek is regtig jammer, sê ek toe ons alleen is. Ek het nie bedoel dinge moet, jy weet, so uitdraai nie. Hoe het jy verwag sou dit kon uitdraai, Luan? Jy het 'n skaap gesteel. Hoekom het jy my nie ten minste vertel wat jy gedoen het nie? Dan sou ek nie soos 'n idioot honderde foto's van Dolores op die Instagram gesit het nie. My pa was van 'n stel om vanaand op Williston by 'n vrouevereniging te praat om geld in te samel. Sy beplanning vir die toer is nou in sy dinges. Okay, so Lana is not really all that happy with Luan at the moment. First, Luan asked if he could just chat to her, and then her dad said, no, come Lana, we need to go, and he doesn't sound very friendly. But then Lana says, Dad, I'll be with you now. And then Luan's grand puts her arm around Lana's father and whispers something to him, but he just shakes his head, and then he and Lana's mom climb into the little combi, and his grand's waiting in the Land Rover. Fortunately, the police have decided that Dolores can stay on Uncle Jackson's farm for the moment, because they didn't really know what to do with the sheep in the charge office at the police station. And Jackson really wanted to come with for the interviews at the police station, but his grand said maybe he mustn't get involved. Then Luan says that he's really sorry. He didn't mean that things should turn out this way. Then Lana said, well, how did you think things would turn out? Luan, you stole a sheep. Why didn't you at least tell me? Then I wouldn't have posted hundreds of photographs of this sheep like an idiot all over Instagram and all over the internet. And tonight my dad was supposed to be in Williston, where he was going to speak at a women's organization to raise money for the cancer thing. And now the whole planning of the tour is messed up. Haar oë skiet vol trane. My ma sê jy is in ander moeilikheid ook by jou skool. Iemand by haar werk is op jou skool se beheerliggaam. Sy het baie tyd gehad om te bel terwyl ons moes wag vir die polisie om te besluit wat hulle met ons gaan doen. Is dit waar? Ek knik. Jy is nie die ou wat ek gedink het jy is nie, Luan, sê sy sag. Dan draai sy om en stap sy weg. Met 'n leë gevoel in my bors staan ek en kyk hoe die silwer trapperkankerbussie wegtrek. My ouma sê niks toe ek by haar in die Land Rover klim nie, maar sy sit haar hand op my arm. Sy lyk ook moeg, geen wonder nie. Sy was die hele oggend op die foon. As ek reg verstaan, moes sy omtrent almal van die hoofouderling op die aar tot die voorsitter van die kerk se synode bel, voor sy hulle kon oortuig om die saak te laat vaar. Dalk het gehelp dat my oupa se naam 'n paar keer genoem het, dat sy my oupa se naam 'n paar keer genoem het. Hy was immer sy lewe lank 'n dominee. Op die ou end het sy met die kerkraad ooreengekom dat sy vir die skaap sal betaal. Dis die enigste goeie ding wat uit hierdie hele gemors gekom het. Dolores is nou amptelik en wettiglik nie meer 'n slagskaap nie. Dankie ouma, prewel ek. So Lana also says to Luan, my mom says you're in trouble at school as well, because one of the people at her work is on the board of governors at your school, and she had a whole lot of time to tell my mom all about what's been happening with you and the school while we were being interviewed by the police. So Luan just nods, and Lana says, you're not the guy I thought you were. And then she turns around and walks away. And Luan has got this empty feeling in his chest as he stands and he watches how the silver Cycle for Cancer bus pulls away. His gran said nothing when he got into the Land Rover next to her, but she just put her hand on his arm. She also looks tired, and no wonder. The whole morning she'd been on the phone, if he understood correctly. She had to try and speak to everybody, from the person in charge of the church in the R to the chairman of the church board and everybody, to try and get Luan out of trouble. And it also probably helped that she mentioned her deceased husband, who was a dominee all his life, mentioned his name a few times. And the only reason that things actually worked out in the end was that she offered to pay for the sheep. So now Dolores is officially and legally no longer a sheep that is up for slaughter. And so Luan says thank you. Sy knik net. Die Land Rover brul toe sy dit aanskakel. Ons ry in stilte uit die dorp. Net voor die afdraaipad na Jackson se plaas is daar 'n stille plek langs die pad, met 'n winterkraalboom wat oor 'n vuil wit pikniktafel waghou. Oral lê bottels en blikkies rond. Ons verminder spoed en hou stil. Ouma Alice haal 'n handvol bont jellybabies uit die pakkie en draai na my. Luan, sê sy, wil jy my vertel wat daardie aand by die skool gebeur het? Nee, natuurlik wil ek nie. Moes ek nie vandag al genoeg vrae beantwoord nie? Ek is amper self verbaas toe ek haar alles begin vertel. Dit is die einde van hoofstuk 18. Just to recap that last bit. Gran just nods when he says thanks. The Land Rover growled or roared when she switched it on. And then they left town in silence. But just before the turn off to Jackson's farm, there was a place where you could stop your vehicle on the side of the road, with a winter tree that's bare of leaves, next to a dirty picnic table. Everywhere there were bottles and tins lying around. They decreased their speed and they stopped. Oma Alice was holding a handful of bright jelly babies from the packet and turned to Luan. She said, Luan, why don't you tell me what happened that evening at the school? And Luan's thinking to himself, no, obviously I won't. Didn't I have to sit the whole morning answering questions at the police station? And then he's quite surprised himself when he starts to tell her everything.